Hey everyone, and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope y'all are enjoying 2021 so far. Now in today's video, we're going to switch it up. So we were doing the wish list videos throughout the last couple weeks. In this video, as you can tell by the title, I am going to cover like my top 3 budget loadouts. So whether that's for money runs, or maybe you just don't want to spend a lot of money on kit and you're just running in to do quests or kill scavs or whatever it may be. So I'm going to cover my top 3 budget loadouts for Escape from Tarkov. Without further ado, let's hop into the game so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, guys, we are in Escape from Tarkov and I have my first little budget loadout equipped. Now, this is a relatively cheap loadout. So one common kind of commonality you'll see in almost all of these loadouts is the penis helmet, ears, some sort of active headphones, and a backpack. I personally love running backpacks. I know some people, just to save money, won't run them. I usually run like a scav or a Burkett or a day pack, as it gives enough room to where if you're just kind of running around looting up while you're doing a quest, you have that space to do so. Now, this first loadout, I'll go over here. Like I said, relatively cheap. This is probably the cheapest loadout that there is as far as the gun and its capability. Now, we have the PP-19 here, right? So this is a fully automatic submachine gun chambered in 9mm. Now, the best option that I've came around with running this gun is buy the gun, buy the little Cobra mount from Prapor level 1, or the OKP7, which you can find a lot on scavs or fairly cheap on the flea market, and then just run PST. You can spend the money for AP 6.3, right? But here's the issue. You're going to be paying over 1,000 rubles a bullet for anything with decent pen and decent damage. Now, the PST already has pretty decent damage, but the pen is, I think, in 20, if I'm not mistaken. So it's one of those kind of give and takes where it's like you can go straight from mechanic level 1 and buy this round for 70 rubles, which is dirt cheap compared to the next best option, which is AP 6.3. Now, if you're just doing a quick loot run, right? Maybe you're running into interchange or reserve to just top up on some of your cash. This gun is perfect, because this is perfect for killing scavs. It's perfect for killing a PMC you may run into that's not running a face shield. And it's one of those things that has hardly any recoil, fairly cheap to suppress, right? All I've done is I've gone to Prapor level 2, which you can buy this gun straight from Prapor level 2 for 21,000 rubles. Now, if you're not level 15 and you don't have Prapor level 2, you can run in here to your flea market if you're level 10 and pick it up for even cheaper, for around 20,000 rubles. And then all I've done after that is gone into his level 1 attachments, picked up this Cobra sight for 10,000 rubles, and then went on the flea market and bought this rotor suppressor for like, I think it was like 12,000 rubles, 13. Yeah. So this is under 50,000 rubles for this full gun setup, right? And then I bought 3 extra mags, filled them up with PST, and left an extra stack of 50 for topping off mags if I need to. So this whole kit itself is fairly cheap. It's a really good kind of budget kit to go in there, do a loot run or do a quest if you need to. Now, if you're running quests or loot runs on bigger maps like woods, then you'll probably need something that can reach out a little bit further, and so that'll be our next gun we go into. Another thing to consider with budget loadouts is meds. So as you can tell, right, Saluas, I've crafted a crap ton of those from the hideout. As you can tell, right, I have a decent amount from the hideout. And then painkillers and a tourniquet, just because they're cheap and they're just in a pinch easy to use. Now, in my gamma container, this usually wouldn't be in here, I've been running factory lately, but in my gamma container, it looks something like this. I'd have extra backup med, which is usually an IFAK, another heavy bleed stop, in this case a hemostat, a CMS, a longer lasting painkiller, so Vaseline, ibuprofen, or a Golden Star, sorry, and then a splint of some sort, whether that's a normal splint or an alu splint. And then, because I'm only running a bank robber in this situation, where if like I discussed in my wish list with the animations, if I have this magazine up here, I'm dropping a mag when I reload. So I usually either have this down here in my backpack, So that way if I do get in an altercation with a PMC or a scav and I do need to have an extra mag up there, then I can just quickly swap that over. Now this like I said, this loadout's fairly cheap. I wouldn't recommend it for PvP unless you're running a better ammo, just because you do have that chance of running into someone with, you know, class 3 class 4 armor or a face shield, and this can't, PST really can't get through it that well unless you're just hammering their face. The nice part about this is it has hardly any recoil, right? It says 50, which you may be like, oh, you know, a meta M4 is 32 or other SMGs are lower, but in reality this is nothing. This recoil is nothing. So let's hop into the hideout really quick, just to show you guys. The lights are off, my bad. But right, so if I were to put this in full auto and spray this, no recoil whatsoever. Like you're fine, right? And the suppressor is an option, right? It's not, the suppressor is an option, it's not necessary. I like running suppressors, especially if I'm playing solo, just because it helps hide your presence a little bit better on the map. But if you didn't want to spend the 15 to 18,000 for the suppressor, right, you just buy the gun straight up from Prapor, throw on the Cobra sight, and you're good to go, right? You buy the mags, which the mags are available from level 1 Prapor, so you can buy those straight up, and then the ammo is available from level 1 mechanic. So you're pretty much set here, right? This is a really good loadout to run like first couple days of the wipe, where everyone's running P.A.K.As and penis helmets, because this ammo will shred through P.A.K.As. Now, one thing that I'm wearing here is the crossbows and the ghost. Now, this is obviously personal preference. If you're gonna run in, I would recommend wearing some sort of face cover, as if you're like hiding in a bush for whatever reason, it helps hide your presence a little bit better. Your plain old white face poking out through your helmet's it's more noticeable. I just like running these two as kind of like a setup, but you can run like a half mask, a balaclava, anything like that. Now, if you have a bigger rig, right, if you're not running a bank robber and you're running maybe like a Triton or a Blackrock or even a WT rig, you're gonna be able to throw in this third mag and have an extra slot to reload. But I wouldn't recommend any more than 3, as 3 mags should be enough to get you where you need to go. Yeah, this is kind of my first setup. I mean, everything here, bank robber, penis helmet, are both available from Ragman level 1. So you can buy these straight up from Ragman, 22k and 10,000. And then everything else is kind of based off the flea market. So scav backpacks you can't usually buy. You can find these. So here's another thing that I like about my budget loadouts is everything that you can't buy from level 1. Let's say you're new to the game, it's either a fresh wipe or you're just starting and you don't want to spend a crap ton of money, or you just can't because you don't have the resources to. All of this stuff you can find relatively easy on scavs, right? A press armor, I didn't really go over this, sorry about that, guys, but the press armor is a class 3 armor. I like it a lot, as if you're buying one on the flea market, it's relatively cheap, right? 28,000 rubles, you repair that up and you're good to go, right? And if you don't have access to the flea market, you can oftentimes find scavs with this armor, which is really nice. It's what I like to do a lot is if I kill a scav with one of these, I'll either throw it on or throw it in my backpack and then throw it in my stash for, you know, budget runs. Now, the ears, I mean, they help you hear a lot, obviously, but they're not necessary, right? I like running active headphones in every kit I run, whether how cheap or expensive they are. But if you're the type of person where you don't have any and you just are trying to get a kit together, don't worry about it, right? I personally, this is my opinion, I would rather run no headphones than the level 1 headphones you get, because I don't like this sound profile from these active headphones. I think it's too loud. It picks up in my opinion, right? It's too loud for my ears. So early wipe, I don't run headphones unless I find Comtacs or Sword-ins or you know, razors, whatever they may be. Anything but the first headphones. So that's not necessary, but you know, you can find press armors a lot on scavs. Penis helmet level 1 Ragman, bank robber level 1 Ragman, and then any sort of backpack if you want to run backpacks, right? You don't need to, it's just an option, especially if you're doing a loot run, right? And if you're not taking the no backpack extract on interchange or reserve, then you're going to want a backpack. You can find scavs with backpacks. You can find, if you kill a player, right, he'll most likely have a backpack that you can throw on. So all of this stuff is relatively easy or cheap depending on where you're at, you know, in your Tarkov career, if you will. Whether that's your level 10 and you have access to the flea market, okay, most of the stuff is going to be fairly cheap. If you're not level 10, most of the stuff you can either buy from level 1 traders or you can find relatively easy on scavs. So that's kind of this, that's the premise of this whole budget loadout video. But you know, it's relatively easy to get into, relatively cheap no matter where you're coming from. So yeah, this is kind of the first loadout I would recommend. Now let's hop into the next one. One more thing, guys, before I go to the next budget loadout, I'll have a list up on screen right now of the kit and how much the total cost is. That way, you know for your preference if it's worth the money, depending on what your situation is. So now let's hop into the second budget loadout. All right, so this is budget loadout number 2. Now, as you can tell, same active headphones, penis helmet, scav backpack, right? Those are kind of the 3 things that will be in almost every one of my budget loadouts. Like I kind of stated, I'm always going to be wearing a backpack and active headphones if I can. The penis helmet's kind of the best bang for your buck, in my opinion, as just a helmet in general, right? There's other class 3 helmets, there's even class 4 helmets, but the cost to survivability isn't worth it, in my opinion, especially for a budget loadout. If you're going to want to go in and go fully kitted up, you know, maybe you're PvPing in factory or whatever it may be, then that's when you want to buy a better helmet. But if you're just going on a budget run, whether, like I said earlier, for tasking or for money runs, penis helmet's where it's at. Now, Karasa, this is another good class 3 armor, fairly cheap on the flea market. We'll do a quick little, you know, search for it. Now, all you need to do is find one that it has the total durability, right? This one out of 26 from fence, not the move, not the move. Don't do that. Find one with the total durability. Now, if you're not sure what the total durability of an armor is, you just go in here and set the condition to 100. And then that'll tell you it's a 70 out of 70. Now, don't buy one that's 100% durability because you're spending 50K. What you're going to want to do is find one that's out of 70 and then buy it for 21 and then just repair it, because this armor repairs fairly well. So that's another option. You can also find crosses relatively easy on scavs when you kill them. So if you're not level 10 and you're looking for an armor to run that's better than a P.A.K.A., here's another option with the press, you know, one of those two. Now let's go into the gun. So the gun is an SKS. Now, the reason why a lot of people use this, if you don't know already, is because of the ammo it shoots, right? 7.62 by 39. This is a great ammo to use if you're on a budget, as it's available from Prapor level 1 for 91 rubles. And this armor, let me pull up the Battle Buddy app really quick. Veritas made this. If you don't have it installed, I would highly recommend it. It helps so much. So PS has 32 pen and 57 damage, which means it's gonna most likely go through class 3 face shield. So if you run into a Chad or some dude that's somewhat kitted up running a face shield, head tap him, it'll most likely kill him first shot, if not second shot. And it'll go through class 3 body armor relatively easy as well. So this is a really good budget ammo to use. Now, the one thing with this is you have room to improve. So if you want to go to BP, you can. It's relatively expensive on the flea. Let's see here. So yeah, you're spending 930 rubles a bullet for that. Now, the nice thing is Prapor sells this, but for 939. Now, you might be thinking that's not budget material, and you're 100% right. Let's say you're running PS and you do a couple money runs and now you have the money to spend. Maybe you like the SKS. All right, now that's when I would personally buy BP ammo just to step it up a bit. Or maybe I'm going into PvP, or I'm going in expecting to run into other PMCs. That's when I run BP. Sorry, if I'm running PS, it's usually just because I'm on a budget and I'm just trying to do one thing, and that's it. Now, the SKS is also available from Prapor level 1 for 23,000 rubles. So again, relatively cheap. And so you have two options when it comes to SKSs. You have the normal one that Prapor sells, and this one you have to run iron sights on. There is a little attachment you can get, and you just throw it on right here, and then it's got a rail on the top to put an optic on. I personally don't run it that way. If I'm running this SKS, I'm running it with irons. Now, if I want to step it up a little bit, I will get an OP SKS, which has this dovetail mount right here, as you can tell. Now this dovetail mount is very powerful because you can put something like an OKP on it. You can put the Cobra sight from the PP19 on it, and you can also put a PSO on it. So if I wanted to come down here, where's my PSO? I might have, oh, right here. So this OP has a PSO on it. So this is something I would run on like woods or shoreline, as it just gives you that extra sighting range for IDing PMCs or scavs or whatever it may be, just kind of looking ahead and getting to see that kind of stuff. I personally like running this setup more than the normal SKS because me personally, I'm trash with irons. It doesn't matter what iron it is in this game, I'm trash with it. So usually what I try to do is I will try to go for scavs, whether that's sniper or normal. You can most likely find an OP SKS on a scav. So if you're not level 10 yet, you know, check what gun that scav is using when you kill it, because they have a chance to be carrying this OP SKS. You can find sniper scavs a lot using this with the PSO, which it's ready to go, right? You throw that in your inventory and that's your gun to use next, right? If you're going woods or shoreline or, you know, one of the bigger maps. Now the OKP, I personally like running this over the Cobra. I just like how the optic looks. Now this gun, or this optic, sorry, is 20,000 rubles on the flea. So if you're willing to spend, you know, as much as the gun basically for an optic, that's your option. You can also find scavs running it a lot on like Saigas, PP19s, and stuff like that, and guns like that have the mount for the OKP. So if you kill a scav and he has that optic on it, it's definitely worth taking, as I like using it a lot on this gun and other ones that use that type of mount, like the SVD. Now another option you do have with the SKS is suppressing it. So this hexagon suppressor is the one I always run. It is kind of pricey on the flea. You know, you're running 35 to 40k for the suppressor, so you're paying double the amount of the gun. So it's kind of up to you. Do you have the cash to spend? Do you want to suppress? There's your option. There's other suppressing like suppressors on the market available. That's just the one I always run. It's quick and easy. I just search that, I know what it is, I buy it, I'm good to go. Now the third option you have for SKS is running 20 round mags. Now you do have more capacity now because the internal mag is 10 rounder, so you do have a better chance if you run into a PMC to have that to kill him, because you have that at twice as many rounds. The only like, I guess, con I would say with 20s is if you're loading out of your pockets, in this case not wearing a rig, then it's going to take a while to reload if you shoot till empty. So I usually, if I'm running a 20 rounder, I'll usually wear something like this bank robber, and then throw in like 2 20 rounders. That's one thing that I like doing. If you want to just run a load out of your pocket, then I would recommend either just constantly topping up, right? If you shoot a scav, top up. If you get into player altercation but you only shot like 2 or 3 rounds and you killed them, top up. Make sure your mag is always topped up, because if you run empty on this, you're going to be sit there just loading mags into your or loading bullets into your magazine for a while. So if you're running a 20 rounder, just keep that in mind. It might be more beneficial to bring a couple extra mags rather than top loading, depending on the situation you run into. But yeah, that's kind of this budget loadout. This is a loadout that I like running a lot, as PS or BP are really effective rounds, and I like running, especially with the OKP. Now this gun has 138 recoil, right, which seems like it would be a lot, and if you're running a zoom optic like the PSO, it can be. But when I'm running the OKP on here, the recoil really doesn't seem that bad. We'll run into the hideout just to show you guys. So right, it's really not that bad. It's when you're shooting someone up close, right, let's say someone pushes you, you can spray some PS or BP into them really quick. Now the longer range ones, that's where you're going to want to kind of time your shots a little bit better. But I like personally running the SKS a lot. I've killed a lot of really good players with the SKS. So yeah, that's this loadout. Like I said, I'll have a kind of like a parts list laid out for you guys right now, covering the total cost of this loadout. And for this example and the last example, if you couldn't tell, I'll have the gun with the suppressor, not the suppressor, and then the optic and not the optic, just in case you would rather run iron sights. just so you can get a total idea. So yeah, that's that one. And now let's hop over to the third and final budget loadout. Guys, one thing I forgot to cover is the cost of an OP SKS. So it's 27,000 rubles on the flea. So if you haven't killed a scav yet that doesn't have one, or you haven't run across one, it's relatively cheap, especially compared to the normal SKS, which is like, what was it, like 23,000? So the 28,000 ruble, you know, for 5 extra thousand rubles, you get to throw an optic on. So I just wanted to point that out. You can also get it from Jaeger level 2, which is a little bit further down the line, but it is a little bit more expensive. So if I were you, either kill scavs and see if they are carrying it, or bite off the flea. Those are the two options. So let's hop back into the third loadout. All right, guys, this is my final budget loadout. Now, as you can tell, I'm running the Hunter. This is a very controversial gun in the Escape from Tarkov community because of how cheap it is and the ammo it shoots. So this shoots 7.62 by 51 or 308 rounds, and these are devastating. So let me pull up the app really quick, and I can share with you the damage in the pen of M80. As in my opinion, if you're running budget, M80 is your probably your only option that you're going to want to run. So M80 has 41 pen and 80 damage, meaning if they're running a class 3 or class 4 and below armor, one tapping them, whether that's chest or head, one tapping them. So that's why this is such a powerful gun. This is probably the most expensive budget loadout that I will run, as it's the gun is about 10,000 more rubles, right? On the flea, you're looking at 30 to 35,000 rubles for the gun. The optic is another, and you're gonna want to run an optic on this, 15,000 rubles. And then the rounds and the mags are where they get you. So you can look out and you can kill a scav with 10 round mag Hunter. Most of the time we'll have 5 rounder mags, which still do the job, but it's only 10 rounds, right? So you're gonna want, it's only 5 rounds, so you're gonna want to get a 10 rounder to compensate for, just in case you miss your shots and stuff like that. Now 10 round mag on the flea is going for about 10,000 rubles. Jaeger level 3 sells them for 4,000 rubles. Just keep that in mind. Now M80 is another kind of like tough spot right now. So buying these on the flea, not the move in my opinion. I would rather buy them from Peacekeeper, which he sells them at level 2. Now, you only need to be level 10 to get Peacekeeper level 2. They're out of stock right now, which is kind of weird. I haven't seen them out of stock this wipe until right now, which is throwing me off a little bit. But they're only $3 a round. So what I like to do every wipe is from level 1 to level 10, I will just every chance I get, throw shit off to the side, whether that's quests or hideout items. Once I hit level 10 on the flea, I'll start throwing stuff up that I either have an abundance of or that I don't need. And with that money I make on the flea, I'll spend the money to get Peacekeeper level 2. So that's what I like to do, right? I'm not telling you how to play the game at all. That's just what I do. So keep that in mind, as it just helps getting Peacekeeper to level 2 just a little bit easier. And then now you have access to more ammo types and attachments, as you can buy those 20 round SKS mags from him, more red dots and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I like to do when I hit level 10, as it makes the ammo more available. Now let's say that, you know, maybe you don't want to run the Hunter, maybe M80 is too expensive, and this price will go down over time, guys. It's not going to always be 800 to 1,000 rubles a bullet. It will go down over time as more players start to level up and unlock these ammos. The price for that will drop. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, this is my third budget loadout. So again, penis helmet, active headphones, some sort of face covering, and then this is probably my favorite rig in the game. So this is a class 4. Let's inspect this. Sorry. So this is a class 4 vest, armor rig, whatever you want to call it. It's got a total of 45, I think it's either 40 or 45 durability. Let's see here. So it's got 40. Now this is 50,000 rubles from Ragman level 2. So it's a little bit more expensive than those class 3 armors that we were running, But this is my trusty little armor rig that I run a lot. So the material is Titan, which means it holds up very well and repairs decently. Your nerfs to your movement speed and your ergo aren't terrible compared to other armors, and it's class 4, so you're gonna be able to stop another class of armor that might be higher than something that can, you know, pen class 3 relatively easy. So this is kind of like the budget kit that I would run if I'm going into Shoreline for quest, for example, because there is a higher possibility to run into players on Shoreline, especially if you're going into Resort. And so having that extra class of armor really helps, you know, increase my chance of survivability. But yeah, that's kind of this last budget loadout. So I'll run this with the 4 mags, and you can orient these however you want, right? I'll throw a Salewa in there. Now in the last budget loadout, I wasn't wearing a rig because you don't need to with the SKS. In that situation, I would have an IFAK or right here, most likely in my pockets, or I'd have a Salewa in my backpack or my container just to have that med kit there available for me. Yeah, so I would run this, and then I'd have 3 extra slots if I were to happen to pick up someone's gun that I kill. Now I can run their gun if I want to. You can take the OKP7 off of the Hunter and throw on the PSO. So I can do that for you real quick. Boom. Now here's the biggest gripe I have with the Hunter. I don't know if it's the mount placement or what, but it is so high up on the gun. Let me show you. So if I'm running a PSO and I'm you know, running this, once it pulls the gun out, oh my goodness, I don't have it equipped. My bad. So this optic is pretty high off the gun. It blocks a lot of your vision. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Another thing is the recoil. So since it's shooting such a high round, or such a big round, the recoil is going to be a lot higher. The return to where the point of like aim is relatively decent. So it all depends on your use case, on what optic you want to run. I always recommend running an optic. That's just my personal preference because I'm so bad at the game and so bad at iron sights. Where was this at? Right there. All right. So yeah, I run OKPs on all my mount, like dovetail mount guns, that if I'm running budget, and then if I want to step it up and run something a little bit more expensive, I'll get some sort of mount that can do that. In this case, it would be the SVD low mount would be my preference, as it puts the optic a little bit lower to the dust cover of the gun. And then with the SKS, I would get same thing. I would run some sort of attachment that I can put like a Bravo or a hammer on. And then with the PP19, you can get dust covers that have rails, so you can throw on hollows or whatever you want to run there. But yeah, this is my last budget loadout. The gamma container stayed the same the whole time. If you didn't realize that, this is kind of my go-to gamma container thing. So I'll have a stack of ammo, and then if I'm running a map where I need keys, I'll throw in my docs case in here. But yeah, everything else, all my healing items pretty much stay the same. Once I have therapist level 3, my hemostats will be up key bound instead of tourniquets, as they are more beneficial in my opinion. But yeah, that's that, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys learned something, or maybe you saw something that you want to try out in the game. But yeah, those are my 3 favorite budget loadouts. Let's hop back out to the full cam to wrap up today's video. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up for today's video, covering my 3 favorite budget loadouts for Escape from Tarkov. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys learned something, or maybe you saw something that you want to try out in the game. I personally usually use budget loadouts for money runs, or just tasks where I'm going in, getting the task done, and calling it quits there. There are some other options I can do here if you guys want to see them, right? I can do like budget PvP loadouts. I can do like kind of mid-tier loadouts or super expensive loadouts. Whatever you guys want to see, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I stream live on Twitch every day of the week, so if you guys want to come say hi, check it out, chill and chat, I'd greatly appreciate it. The link for that will be down in the description. And I also post all of my stream highlights on TikTok, so if you guys want to head over there, leave a follow, check out the content, and see what I've been up to in my live streams, I'd greatly appreciate it. The link for that will be in the description as well. But yeah, I'm calling it there, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys liked or learned something from the video, and I will see you on the next time, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell, as all those will greatly help the channel grow, and I'd appreciate very much. And that's it for me. Thanks for hanging out and watching the video, guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.